Hi everyone, Rusty Dog here. Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. We are at Durham Teesside Airport and you are looking at an Airbus A321, the Fenix Airbus A321. Now, there is a new feature introduced in BeyondATC called CPDLC, and a new update has recently been brought out for the Fenix range of aircraft to support this CPDLC. What is CPDLC? CPDLC is Controller Pilot Data Link Communications. What it basically is it's a method by which the air traffic controllers can communicate with the pilots over a system that is based around text as opposed to voice. So sometimes we'll be going into onto the radio and saying, you know, I want clearance for this and information for that, and it's all done by voice mainly. But there's also a text-based system. Now you can do this already without BeyondATC via if you're using VATSIM. You know, a human can control this stuff with a different method, which I believe is called, well, they use a system called Hoppy. The ACARS service is called Hoppy. But now we don't want to do that because I don't use VATSIM anyway, so I don't really have any use for that. Now we want to use BeyondATC, where AI will take care of it for us. So, to explain a bit more about how it works, we're going to step on board. Now you will need two things to make this work. Actually, you're going to need three things. First thing you're going to need is the most up-to-date Fenix aircraft. The 319, the 320 and the 321, the latest build, which is 2.4.0.2070 at the time of this video. Anything below that is probably not going to work. Anything with that version number or above, you should be fine. Second thing you're going to need is BeyondATC if you want to do it via the BeyondATC method, and you will also need the experimental build of that as of the time of this video. The experimental build that I have is 1.6.60. And if you just have the standard version, it's not going to work because it's not been passed over to standard yet. They're still in the working stages of this, but it seems to be working just absolutely fine. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into the plane. So let's do the manual way, because this new big Fenix update has allowed us to do this, and it looks cool, so why not just step in as we would like to step in. Now then, I don't seem to have my cursor. There it is. Not a cursor, a mouse pointer. These are big weighty doors. Let me just step back a little. Okay. Right, what's that? World's leading charter airline, Thomas Cook. Yes, it is very popular. Oh, look at the seats. Right. So, this is my co-pilot. Right, let's step into the plane and get into the captain's seat. Hi. Right. So, there are two stages to this. First is the initialization phase to initialize your flight with this system. Secondly, it's the pre-departure request. So we're going to have to set it all up. Now, what you're going to need in your plane is this. If you don't have it, well, it's because what you don't have is the panel set enabled. So let's go into Fenix and you need to enable DCDU. Without it, you don't have it. So make sure you've got that enabled in the panel, DCDU, and that brings that on. Now it's currently not powered on because the aircraft is cold and dark, so we're going to turn the aircraft on. So let's just do preliminary stuff. I'm not going to do too much unnecessary things. So batteries, ground power. I'll do the nav because I just do that, and I guess I can just leave everything else. Let's just pop a couple of lights on for no particular reason. I won't be flying anywhere, so I don't actually need to do this, but it's just become habit now. So all these systems are going to power up. What you need to make sure is this is also powered on, and you'll know that it is powered on because you'll have some white lines, one going across, two going down. And we're not seeing that right now. So let's see if we can get it by just brightening up the display, and there it is. So we'll just go click and hold, and there we go. So just make sure if your screen is blank after you've powered the aircraft on, just make sure that you have these lines here. Otherwise you won't see anything on the screen basically. Okay, so it's now powered. Right. I should point out that before you come into the sim, there are a couple of steps that you also need to take. Let's just take a quick look at those. On the Fenix client app, I'm not going to actually perform this, but I can show it to you. On the Fenix client app, before you come into the sim, you could probably do it while you're here, but bear in mind if you've switched anything on in the aircraft like I have, once you apply the change, it's probably going to put your aircraft back to cold and dark and you'll lose everything. So do this before you come into the sim. So I really should have mentioned that before. But yeah, before you go into the sim, load up the, what's it called on my desktop? Yeah, it just says Fenix Sim A320. So this is the client interface for the aircraft. And all you're going to do is just change the ACARS service from Hoppy to BeyondATC. I don't know if does it show? Yeah. So there's three, I don't know if it's showing on the screen, but there are, it doesn't look like it is, no. There's three settings: Hoppy, Say Intentions, and BeyondATC. So we're going to select BeyondATC here, and then you would click Apply. I hope mine is set up correctly. I'm going to click Apply now, because I'm not sure. Anyway, that's done. I did put that back to Hoppy for the sake of the video, but I don't think I applied it, so we should be fine. Also, you'll know if you have the correct version of BeyondATC because you'll have a little envelope icon here to let you know that it's available, and also you can click the on and off to make any messages regarding the CPDLC visible on here or not. So we're going to have that on. As you can see, we're flying Thomas Cook 2627 Whiskey today. This is my flight number is TCX, which is the ICAO code for Thomas Cook. So it's TCX 2627W. That's our flight number. That's rather important. We'll also know that from the SimBrief flight plan. It's the one that we put into SimBrief. But with SimBrief, it calls it the flight number. So yeah, that's your flight number, basically. Right. So now that we have BeyondATC and Fenix set up, now we're back into the aircraft. I'm going to leave BeyondATC on the screen so you can see the messages as they come up. Hopefully it won't get in the way. So first thing then is we go to the MCDU, and we're going to just initialize the aircraft as we normally do. I don't think there's anything to do on this side. I don't think so. So let's just go into here, and we're just going to set up. I already have my MCDU here in front of me, so I'm just going to come in here. Now I've already generated a SimBrief flight plan, so this is a flight from Durham Teesside Airport to Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris, France. So I'm just going to do an init request. And that'll bring in the SimBrief flight plan. There you go. And the flight number is the TCX 2627 whiskey. Okay, now the cost index today is 6. You'll get this from SimBrief as well. And my cruising altitude is going to be 35,000 feet. So we can either type in FL 350 or just 350. Now normally I would press the wind now to load up the winds. And in fact I think I will, just because it's part of the setup procedure. Just load in the wind. Okay, so rather than now, what I would normally do is start going and feeding in the flight plan. What I'm going to do is go back to the MCD menu, and we're going to go now to ATSU. Normally we go here for company messages. I don't know whether we have any, but we certainly will be getting some later. There's nothing there. Alright, so top left we have flight init, FLT init up here. So we're going to go into that. And now we're going to put in our flight number, which as I said was TCX. You must make sure to get all of this spot on. 2627 whiskey. We are departing from EGNV. Don't make a mistake on any of this data. The destination airport, you'll get all this from your SimBrief anyway. LFPG, Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris. The alternative airport, in case we can't make it, is LFOK. And estimated time en route, which I deem to be the same as our airtime. We have airtime and block time. So block time is the amount of time it's calculating for leaving the gate, taxiing to the runway, doing the flight, landing, taxiing to the gate at the destination. 1 hour 28 minutes. However, the airtime is 1 hour exactly. So that's our estimated time en route. So we're just going to put in 0101. Sorry, not 101. 100. Which is 1 hour. If it was 1 hour 40 minutes, it would be 0140. Okay, so it's basically hours and minutes. Alright, so then we're going to press init data request. We're going to pop that in now. So the second part to this, if we go back to the AOC menu, is the ATC request, which is this one. Now I'm going to do this now, but the correct way to do this is just before pushback. Before you request pushback, this is when you want to start setting this up. But that means I have to go through putting in the flight plan and the whole deal. So I'm not going to do that quite yet. So let me just get myself back here and just put that on screen like that. So now we can see both panels. Okay, so let's just presume I've got the rest of the aircraft set up. I'm ready for, maybe, I don't know if you want to do it before you put the APU on and everything. I'm not sure. Let me get rid of this screen. But it has to be done at some point before pushback. So ATC REQ is what we want next, this one. And we want the pre-departure clearance. I think Oceanic, has that got something to do with this TV series Lost? I think it's a virtual airline. Anyway, don't bother with that, it doesn't work. So pre-departure clearance is what we want now. And now because we filled in the initialization page, you'll see that we already have the origin and destination filled in. We've got the call sign or the flight number filled in. And we've got the aircraft type filled in, A321. Lovely. If not, we would just fill those in manually. So the gate number that we're at from GSX, I think it's 3. Yeah, parking 3. So there are no gates at this airport, it's all parkings, so it's number 3. Now the ATIS ID. Well, when we talk to BeyondATC and we listen to the ATIS and it tells us about the winds and it tells us about the air pressure, it also says please report or please inform that you have information tango or information whiskey. So that's what we're talking about here. So if we go to BeyondATC and we go into all the frequencies, let's tune into the ATIS and find out what it is. Come on.
23. Transition level 060. Read back all hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact you have information X-ray.
X-ray. Okay. So information X-ray.
Valley Airport information X-ray. 1410 Zulu.
Now how do I need to tune that out. Let me just go to the radios on the plane, we'll tune that out.
0 miles or more. Few clouds at 4,500.
So, information X-ray. So here on the ATIS ID, we're going to put X for X-ray. And the station that you're going to put in at the bottom is the same as your originating airport, which in my case, as you can see in the top left, is EGNV. So that's the station. So EGNV. Just ensure that everything you've written there is correct and then click send. What that's going to do is it's going to send a message to BeyondATC via text, and it's going to come up on the screen in BeyondATC, and once they clear us, once they confirm us, then we have to wait a little while because there will be a delay, and it will then appear on the screen and then we can confirm it. So let's click send. That's gone and it should appear here. There we go. Request pre-departure clearance TCX 2627. So I got an error on the screen there, but that's nothing to do with anything. Okay, so we've been cleared. We've been cleared. The reason I have an error is because I've got the plane set up to print its instructions to the PDF file, and it's having trouble with that. So now we've been cleared to runway 23, expect vectors after departure, squawk 0040, ATIS X when ready to call, 119.805 if unable to revert to voice. ATIS X when ready to call. So I think 1198 is the frequency of the ATIS. There it is, it's on screen. Oh no, it's the tower. Okay, so there you go. As you can see, it's come up on the screen. Cleared to LFPG, runway 23. Does that correspond with SimBrief? It actually does. Oh, now that's a phone call noise. Right, so that's telling us that we've just received a message from ATC, and that will also mean that we now get a little blue light. Why does this keep coming up? I think I've got a hotkey doubled up. So now you can see we've got ATC message flashing, so we're just going to click that off. And here, cleared to Paris, runway 23, expect vectors after departure. Normally it would give you as well your SID, your standard instrument departure, if you have one. I don't have one, I don't have a standard instrument departure going out here. It's direct to a waypoint called GASCO. But if you did have a SID, it would mention it here. And just make sure this matches up with SimBrief, otherwise you're being given a different departure than what SimBrief has given you, in which case you're going to have to alter your flight plan. So it's squawk 0040, so we can actually go put that in. So let's clear that. 0040, and let's turn that on. And as well, as you're taxiing to the runway, you can switch the transponder from standby over into TARA, which is transmit and receive. So yeah, I tend to do that now, but yeah, you're really supposed to do it when you're taxiing. So there's the squawk code in. ATIS X when ready, call 119.805 if unable, and then we've got another page. If unable, revert to voice. So that's fine. If we're unable, we say here, we want to tell them to go standby, we press that. But actually we're okay with all of this, so we're going to just respond with Wilco. So we're going to click Wilco, and BeyondATC should confirm that as well. Wilco comes up on here just to be sure, and we're going to send that Wilco message now. It all goes green. BeyondATC gets the Wilco, and there you go. ATC request status, clearance confirmed. Once it's been confirmed, you can now click close. Oh, that's weird. Oh, there it is. I was going to say the last time I clicked close, it all came back on the screen again. And there it is. So clearance confirmed. If I press close now, does it go off the screen? But anyway, that's basically it. You've just got your pre-departure clearance via text. Yes, another new message has come in. Thank you. I love that it's a phone thing. So let's click close, see what happens. Does it stay off the screen? I guess it stays blank. We don't need it anymore, but we can click here to recall the message. And there we go. If we want to keep it on, and it goes on both. All right. So then I guess the next thing, once we would assume everything else has been set up, the flight plan, the performance, everything set up already, and now the next thing we would do is call for pushback and start. All right, so that's basically it. That is the CPDLC, which again is the controller pilot data link communication. That's how it is. That's how it works. If you found it useful, leave me a like, and yeah, there you go. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.